Hi, this is Chuck King. Today on the King's Guide, we're paying our respects to the Elks Rest Cemetery at Greenwood Memorial Terrace. The Elks Rest, which originated in 1898, is a cemetery created for members of the Elks Fraternal Order. The Elks began in New York right after the Civil War as a fraternal organization for musicians and entertainers who wanted a place to socialize and drink beyond the legal operating hours of New York taverns. They were originally called the Jolly Corks. Tragedy hit one of the club members, and his wife and children were left destitute without income. So the group expanded from socializing and drinking and formalized as a benevolent organization. In a razor-thin vote, the club almost became the Buffaloes, but the Elk won out in a vote of 8-7. The Elks organization started in Spokane in 1892, and by 1919, they had built the majestic Elks Lodge on West Riverside next to the Masonic Temple. Many of the people buried at the Elks Rest here in Spokane busied themselves with mining and area industry. Local historian Tony Bamonte did much of the research that uncovered the history of the Elks Rest.
This is where Stephen Osborne was buried. He was the town of Osborne, Idaho was named after him.
Other significant Elks include Harry Bear, who built the Frankfurt Block and was partners with Spokane's favorite barkeep, Dutch Jake. Spokane Mayor Charles Fleming is buried at the Elks Rest, as well as Judge Del Carey Smith.
Right now we're at the Elk Cemetery. This was the favorite chosen spot where most of the well-to-do miners were buried. There's a mausoleum right behind me that had at one time had a full-size elk statue on the top.
Unfortunately, in the early 1980s, the elk was removed from the building, and in essence went missing to the general public for decades. With information supplied to me by Tony and Suzanne Bamonte, I found the elk last year. It had been damaged and its original antlers were gone. Leonard Silva, an Elks member, restored the elk, and plans are now being made to restore it to its original station atop the mausoleum. There's some concern about vandalism of the elk and mausoleum, with so many ghost hunters and hooligans visiting the Elks Rest, or Thousand Steps, as it has become known in popular culture. Troy Horner of the Fairmont Memorial Association hopes people will treat this area with more reverence in the future.
The people are here, they're our responsibility, and they should be able to lie in rest and peace. And when we come here and find the trash and the drug paraphernalia and the vandalism and the graffiti all over the building, it's disheartening. And it's disrespectful. What's in the mausoleum? It's just our garden hoses. There's never been anybody buried in there. The door's open, you can look inside and you can see it was never even designed for occupancy. It's a fancy shed. It's a fancy shed and it had a really cool elk on it at one point. That was the elk was to look over the members of the Elks Lodge that rest here.
I'm Chuck King. See you next time on the King's Guide. If you like today's goodies on Spokane history, make sure you subscribe to Nostalgia Magazine. You'll find more goodies in every issue. Ageless stories, ageless photos. That's Nostalgia Magazine.
My name is Tony Bamonte, and this is my wife Suzanne. We wrote the book, what?
Do we need a new title? It's easier to remember.
We switched titles around quite a bit, see. Here we go. This is okay. My name is Tony Bamonte, and this is my wife Suzanne. We wrote the book, Coeur d'Alene's Gold Rush and Its Lasting Legacy. And what else am I supposed to say? I wasn't ready for this. I didn't even think about this then. Okay, it's about how the whole inland empire come together.